Hello, YouTube, and welcome back to VHS. This is Jesse, and this is Jesse Recommends 1981. Let's get into it. All right, let's jump in to my overall recommendation for a great movie from 1981 that you're going to enjoy. Well, where are we going to start? Raiders of the Lost Ark. Raiders is an absolute classic that still holds up. Even with the bloated runtime, you know, it ends like 3 different times and it keeps going. You're on the boat with the Nazis. I just showed this to my kids and it completely held up for them. They were gripped by it the entire time. But, you know, everyone's already seen Raiders. Everyone knows it's amazing. So I'm not going to waste my recommendation on it, okay? Just, we know it's great. Das Boot. Are you a patient movie watcher? Do you like tension that builds slowly over time until you can't really take it anymore? And would you like that tension served to you on a German U-boat with subtitles? Well, it sounds like I'm doing green eggs and ham. But if that sounds good to you, Das Boot may be the weekend time killer you're looking for. But my genuine recommendation overall for a great movie from 1981 is Sidney Lumet's Prince of the City. It's an archetypal story that you've heard redone 100 times. A corrupt cop gets busted for being corrupt, and he's given a choice. Either cooperate and help take down other corrupt cops, or he can go down himself. But Prince of the City is the Rolls Royce of this kind of movie. It's big, it's luxurious, it takes its time getting down the road. But few prestige movies of this era pack this kind of punch. The extra hook on this movie is that our main character, played with serious gusto by Treat Williams, is part of the most corrupt unit in the whole NYPD. What happens when Internal Affairs wants him to now start turning on his own partners? We'll leave it there with a glowing recommendation for Sidney Lumet's Prince of the City. All right, jumping over to comedies from 1981. Let's do a couple quick hits here. What a cornucopia of weirdness we're getting into in 1981. Wait till you see all these. Okay, first of all, Stripes. Great comedians. Not as funny as you remember. My favorite part of this movie is that Bill Murray ends up joining the army out of necessity. But then Harold Ramis goes with him because otherwise he wouldn't be in the movie. Seriously, there's like no other reason. He has a job. He's a teacher. He just goes to the army. Modern romance. Albert Brooks is really starting to cook here with his second feature. And just a warning for all single dating adults, this movie's about you. The Great Muppet Caper. Don't look at me like that. I'm not a stunted man-child who never grew up. You're a stunted man-child who never grew up. Cannonball Run. Come on. History of the World Part 1. Not perfect by any means, but it's got plenty of great bits. But my personal recommendation for a wonderful comedy that you can enjoy from 1981 is Dudley Moore in Arthur. Pound for pound, minute by minute, one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. And all due to the dazzling comedic performance by Dudley Moore as Arthur. The jokes just don't stop from the opening when he picks up the prostitute and takes her to the Rich Bastard restaurant, starts showing her off to his relatives. And his relationship with his butler, played by an aging John Gielgud, who I love in this movie, is honestly one of the most tender ad hoc father-son relationships I've ever seen in a movie. I love this. I return to this relationship all the time. And when you throw in peak Liza Minnelli as the first woman to make Arthur Bach feel alive in his whole life, she's so fast and like New York street savvy and beautiful and just smart. She charms the pants off you in the first scene where she's shoplifting and Arthur catches her. It's hilarious. But Arthur's not just good. This movie is actually great because the sadness in Arthur is real and it's seeded through beneath all of the laughs. Cannot recommend Arthur enough. Moving on to thriller and or horror. Horror. Am I pronouncing both of those syllables? What am I doing? Let's do a couple quick hits first. Scanners. You ever see that scene in Wayne's World where the guy asked if you ever saw that scene in Scanners where the dude's head blew up? Just curious. Escape from New York. Now here we have young John Carpenter and Kurt Russell teaming up. Certainly a good time, but it's not even close to my favorite Carpenter. And honestly, it might not even be my favorite escape from film. But that's for another video. But hands down, my recommendation for a thriller horror film from 1982 has to be American Werewolf in London. I love this movie. It has everything. This is an era in filmmaking where even the genre films are well-rounded and are actually using all of the elements of film storytelling to their benefit. I mentioned how one of the best things about Arthur is its sadness, but in a comedy. Well, one of the best things about American Werewolf is its comedy in a horror. Everyone talks about the transformation scene, the big werewolf change, but that's not why this movie is great. That's just one amazing special effects sequence. American Werewolf in London is great because it's very human. Becoming a werewolf is a human dilemma. Losing control, losing autonomy over your body and your actions, losing yourself to the monster that's growing inside of you. It's great. It's great performances, great gore, great movie. All right, now let's get you a deep cut you can use to impress your friends and enjoy for yourself, but you know what I'm saying. Quick hits first. Polyester. Did you try John Waters' Pink Flamingos when you were young? Like someone dared you or they're like, you won't be able to handle it. And you watch it and you're like, it's not that I can't handle it. I just don't want to have to watch any of this stuff happen. Okay, Pink Flamingos is maybe a little too much for a lot of people. Try Polyester. Polyester still has Divine as the main actress, still has John Waters' trash vibe all over the place, making fun of middle America, suburbia, throwing trash all over the place. But Waters actually makes an attempt with Polyester to wrench more of a actual filmed story into shape here. Also, Polyester should be in the Movie Theater Hall of Fame because the studio, when it came out, the studio distributed scratch and sniff stickers for the audience. And there'd be moments in the movie where a symbol would come up and you'd scratch it and then you'd be able to smell what's in the movie. Sounds fun until you remember this is a John Waters movie we're talking about. Blowout. Here's another filmmaking giant from the Pantheon doing good, but not their best work. Brian De Palma directs a very young John Travolta in what is a remake of the 1966 Antonioni masterpiece, Blow Up. I'm sorry, Jesse. Did you say blow up or blow out? Well, I said both. Blow Up is about photography. Blow Out is about sound recording. Otherwise, it's the same. They're both stylish thrillers about a guy who gets caught up in a murder mystery. Fun times. But my deep cut recommendation from 1982 is Roar. If you haven't heard about this, do a little digging. There's almost even more information and fun to be learned about the making of this than the movie itself, but it's definitely worth a watch. One of the great curios of outsider filmmaking, Noel Marshall, filmmaker, and his real-life wife, Tippi Hedren, yes, from The Birds, basically went on an African safari, fell in love with big cats, and then they bought a bunch of them and brought them into their home. And took 11 years to make the most expensive home movie of all time. Billed in 1981 as an adventure comedy, this film bombed everywhere except for Germany and Japan and wasn't even released in the US. That is until 2015 when Drafthouse Cinema found it, picked it up, and distributed it. But now, the advertising mentions that while no animals were harmed in the filming, 70 members of the crew were. And when you watch this movie, you'll think you're watching a snuff film with lions in it. And the music playing over these really intense scenes of the lions and tigers overwhelming the actors inside the house or on the... Oh my God. The music is playful. Like you really are in a comedy. But the people are like trapped under lions and begging for help. The result is one of the most singular movie watching experiences you can have. Check out Roar, or at least read about Roar. Well, there you have it. Jesse recommends 1981. If you enjoyed the video, please take a moment to like and subscribe. It means the world to us. And I'll catch you in 1982. We live here. Only on VHS. Take it home, Craig.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Oh, and please like and subscribe. Check out more of our videos. Leave a comment. Or don't. You do you.